Hey guys, it's Carly. Welcome back to Mostly Dating, a First Rounds on Media production. First Rounds on Me is a dating app that's designed to get you off your phone and on a date in real life. Head to the link in our show notes to learn more and get your first month free with the code MOSTLYDATING. Hey Ilana.
Hi, Carly.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for this.
I know I said this to you 2 minutes ago, but I feel like we see each other like once a year and it feels like it was a week ago.
Yeah.
And so much has changed, but also everything's the same.
Yeah, every time so much has changed. But
Yeah.
It feels the same. Last time was when I had just started doing solo podcasting and I called you.
Yeah. 'Cause we had just gone to Tacombe.
Yeah. So this is our annual little podcast.
I love it. We need to make it like biannual at least.
Yeah. Well, what's been new with you?
What's new with me is like honestly nothing. I feel like the last few months have been like chilling.
Yeah.
Like saying no to plans that I know I'm not going to want to do the day of. Like making less plans in general. Got really into puzzling and reading and just like these like little hobbies that
Yeah.
are kind of weird, but I like them.
I feel like you used to like coloring. Do you
Yes.
still- yeah.
I do.
Okay.
I went to Color Me Mine. Have you done Color Me Mine?
No, what is that?
Oh my God. It's like pottery painting studio. So you go and you pick out your piece of pottery, like the pottery's already made. And they have like 100 colors and you basically paint whatever you want.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wait, is it like vases and stuff?
Yeah, whatever you
Oh,
want.
my God, that's so fun.
I've gone twice in the last like 2 months.
Oh, you're
I made a mug the first time with paw prints on it. And it's like my favorite mug ever. I'm so obsessed and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
And so I went back this past week and made a dog bowl
Oh
to
my
match
God, that's
it for
so
Barkley.
cute. Do you go with friends or with
Yeah.
Jake? With
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Jake.
so fun.
Jake like would go if I really wanted him to, but like I don't need to force him to go.
I feel like Sean would be forcing me to go. That sounds up his alley. He's
we
like
can,
very
we can do a
artsy.
double date and you and Jake can just like
Just come along.
do something else.
Like no matter what it is, whether it's like drawing, painting, like maybe pottery, things like that, anything artistic, I'm just like not good at. Like
Really?
I
But
could
do you have fun with it, or you're like
it's fun, but
Yeah.
like even like my handwriting is terrible. Like anything that's like aesthetics, I'm just not good at.
That's funny. Wait, this is actually interesting. Do you guys like have a lot of the same hobbies and interests, or are they different? Because I posted a video last week of me puzzling while Jake was watching March Madness.
Oh, I saw that.
And it went so viral and people are like, this is amazing. Because I feel like there's such a big narrative out there of like, you need to find like the person who wants to do every single thing that you want to do. And like, that's not really true.
Yeah. If anything, I feel like it's like a red flag if you have all the same hobbies and you need to do everything together. Because like you just said, you do that with your friends or
Right.
like you're doing your own thing while he's watching his sports. Like I feel like that almost like forces separation in a relationship, which like you kind of need to have. At some
Yeah.
points. We don't have. I'm trying to think. I'm like, what are my hobbies? But no, it's like he was a hockey player. So like last night he was like watching all the hockey games and I'm just like reading. And like, but my sister and I were just joking about this that like we feel like she was saying she feels like her husband, and I was like, oh my God, Sean does this too. Like, I feel like they get mad when I read. When we
Wait,
both read.
really?
Like, not mad, but it's like they want to watch something on TV, and like they want to watch one of our together, like the shows we watch together. And it's like, oh, are you going to read tonight? And we were like cracking up. We were like, is tonight going to be a reading night?
Yeah.
Like, it's like something we're doing that's wrong.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That'll happen to me too sometimes where like Jake will really want to watch a show and I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't stare at a screen anymore,
Right.
even though I read on a Kindle. So
Kindle.
I'm still staring at a screen, but it's different.
It's different.
What are you reading right now?
I actually am in between books. So I just
Ooh.
finished the, what's it called? Society of Lies. Have you read it?
No, I haven't.
It was good. It wasn't like amazing. I gave it a 3 on Goodreads.
Okay, then I'm not going to add it to mine.
We have to follow each other
Yes.
on Goodreads.
I just finished The Things We Leave Unfinished.
Oh, was it good?
Incredible. Like
Oh my
one
God.
of the best books I've ever read.
Okay.
Very, very good. I started, this is a weird thing that I did. I started Harry Potter.
Oh, I love Harry Potter.
2 nights ago.
Have you read it though?
No.
What?
And like I've seen not all of the movies. I've seen some of the movies. And like I've obviously seen like Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets like way too many times. So I'm like a third of the way through Sorcerer's Stone, and I'm finding it hard because like at the end of the day, it's a children's book, not a children's
Yeah.
book, but it's like a young adult book,
yeah.
and I can't stop picturing what I know from the movie.
Mm.
So I want to commit to this. I want to read all of them. I want to get through the first 2 so that I can like actually focus in on the book.
Yeah, I think that you will. Number 4 is my favorite.
Ooh, okay.
I love Harry Potter, and I think it's because I did read it as it was coming out. And so the first book came out, I think, when I was like 11 or 12, and they were 11 or 12. And then as they were coming out, I was reading them.
That's so
and they like
special.
get longer and like a little bit more like advanced.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you like grow up with it.
Yeah.
And so as an adult reading it, I feel like you will like the ones that are later on better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I also recently read The 3 Lives of Kate Kay. Did you read it?
No.
Okay, it was one of the best books I've read in so long. You have to read it.
Okay, wait. I'm adding it to my Goodreads literally right now.
So good. Okay, so we're catching up. Have you been married for a year?
Almost, which is
Okay.
crazy. Yeah, we're planning an anniversary trip.
What is it going to be?
We're going to St. Martin, which I've never been to
Ooh.
before, like the week of our anniversary.
I feel like when we put together a couple of questions we're going to answer from listeners, but one of them actually was about anniversaries, and I feel like it made me think of you because I think you're really good at celebrating milestones.
Yes, that if there's one thing we're good at, it's celebrating a milestone.
Yeah.
Partially because I have this date list where I've kept track of everything, but it's like I'll never not know like when a milestone is coming up for us. But we also like we love doing nice things. Like
Yeah.
we love going to a really nice dinner or a spa or something. And so, you know, we have always prioritized like let's do something nice. And I think the first time we did it was for our 100th date.
Okay.
And that was in our first year of dating. So it was like before our first anniversary. And that dinner was so special and memorable.
Yeah.
And so like that's what kind of got us on this track of, you know, celebrating these milestones and anniversaries. But it's weird that our anniversary is now like changing.
Yeah, so will you celebrate both?
So we kind of did. Our anniversary of our first date, which is what we used to go by, is February 8th. So that's always been very close to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So I think what we're doing now is like we're just gonna like group it together.
Mm-hmm.
So like we got each other gifts, but like and like did something, but it was like for both, kind of, you know?
Yeah. Do you still do the date list?
Yeah,
You do?
I do.
Oh my God. How do you keep track of it? Like it's just when you go out, like on
Yeah,
a
we have
date?
to leave the house.
Okay.
We have to leave the house. We are at, yeah, guys, I've been doing this since we first met. We are at, hold on.
Did you always keep it to like when you leave the house, or in the beginning where you like watched One Tree Hill?
We're at 657 dates.
Oh my God.
In the beginning, it was like One Tree Hill and Order In.
Yeah.
Once we moved in together, that's when it became like intentionally spending time together 9 out of 10 times leaving the house.
Okay. Wait, did I tell you that I did it?
Shut up.
Because of you. Yeah.
Wait.
I'm like asking all these questions because you told me about this when you first like were doing this with Jake. And then when I started dating Sean, which is now 2+ years ago, in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make this list that Ilana made. And I was like telling Mia at the time. And then I was just writing down all the dates we went on. And I only did it for the first like year-ish, like maybe 1.5 years of our relationship because of that. Because I was writing like stayed in and watched Suits. And it was like
Right.
we weren't living together, but we were basically living together. So it was
Yeah.
like, and then I was like, okay, this is just getting like ridiculous. But I still love that I have that first like year plus of our relationship because like we'll talk about it. It'll be like, what was like the thing we did on like our 5th date? And I'll look back and I'm like, this is exactly what we did. And I love it.
There is no greater compliment in the world to me than when someone tells me they started a date list
It's
because
the
of me.
best.
I found out, this is the craziest thing. My dad had a date list
What?
of him and my mom until they got engaged.
Oh my God. Wait, that's so
They
crazy.
have their
We
like
never talked about it?
171 dates
Oh my God.
written down.
That's so crazy.
So crazy. And I had no idea when I started mine.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
When did you tell Jake that you were doing it?
We started doing it like
Together?
or I may have had, I mean, I definitely had the idea.
Yeah.
But probably like in our first 10 dates.
Yeah.
Like we went back and like wrote them down.
Yeah.
And he didn't think it was weird. Like we
Yeah.
liked each other. It was cute.
Exactly. That's like a perfect example. Like Sean didn't think it was weird at all. And it's like, if I was like hiding this list, I'm like, oh, Sean can't know. He's going to think I'm so obsessed with him or something like
Mhm.
that. Like that would automatically mean I feel like it's not really a match. Like that's
Yes.
one of those things where it's like, you shouldn't feel weird letting someone know that you're like excited about getting to know them.
It's the same thing with like if someone does a grand gesture, a romantic gesture, and you feel like, I hate the word ick, but like you feel icked out by it.
Yeah,
Like if it was the right person, you'd be like over the moon.
exactly. I feel that way about any like ick.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes Sean has done things and I'm like, oh, that would have been an ick with somebody else. But like with me, I'm just
Totally.
like, oh, he's weird.
Yeah,
Like, I kind of just
exactly.
laugh it off. Or like, I think it's cute. It's like that was like one of the early signs that like I knew that I really liked him, was that some of these things that like
Mhm.
small little things that I'd be like, oh, if someone else like chewed that way, like that's not a real
Yeah,
example for him, but something like that. And then I'm like, oh, I guess like icks are really just like a sign that person is not for
100%.
you.
I had been going on dates with this guy, the nicest guy, and he had wanted me to come and meet his family over like the week of like Christmas to New Year's. I was visiting a friend for New Year's in Miami, and his family was like an hour and a half away. And I was like, it's way too soon. Like I wasn't sure how I felt about him yet, and I said I couldn't. And when I got to my friend's apartment in Miami, my friend Olivia was like, Alana, like, there's something here for you. And I'm like, what do you mean? This guy drove an hour and a half to drop off a bottle of champagne with a note about how he's overcome with joy every time I smile and hopes that the new year brings like so many opportunities for me to smile. I've never felt more like uncomfortable
Oh
and
my God.
awkward and like not knowing what to do with myself in my life. The nicest gesture,
Yeah.
so sweet, so thoughtful, so romantic. I was like,
Yeah. Oh my
because he
God.
wasn't my guy.
Yeah. Whereas, like, if you were telling that story about like your early days with Jake, it'd be like, oh my God, that's really cute.
Yep, exactly, exactly. Okay, wait. I want to hear, how has living with Sean been?
Well, we're not technically living together
Oh,
yet.
you're still not okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. It's like a saga. I won't get into the whole thing. But I think last time we recorded together, I was like, oh yeah, this year we're going to move in together.
Right,
And that was
yeah.
last year. And then some like personal things happened where we like, I had to resign my lease because we
Mhm.
weren't sure where he was going to be, like location wise,
Okay.
when it ended. And so it was like, okay, I'm going to resign it. But the thing, we kind of like expected that I would resign it and then I would be able to get out of it if I wanted to. And then I like literally couldn't get out of it. So now it officially ends in May and we actually are moving in together. But
Okay.
it just like, I still kind of like he says we live together, but I'm like, I do have an apartment, even though I literally don't see it.
Right.
Like it still exists. So we don't technically live together. And I am really curious about it because like I even always give this advice. It's like, even if you feel like you practically live together, it's like, it is going to be a little different when you actually live together. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to see like what actually it feels like. Cause like, aside from like one of us traveling, I don't remember the last time we like weren't together for a night, like overnight. So we basically, in that sense, like always like spend the night together and everything. But it's like, it's different when like I still feel like it's like his apartment that I'm going over, and like I'm excited for it to be like our apartment that like all my stuff is at, and I actually have everything I need.
I'm sure.
So we'll see how that
Is
goes.
there anything you're nervous about?
Um, if you had asked me like 6 months ago, I would have said like I was nervous to not have like my own space that I could go back to if I wanted to, because like at that point I still probably was like once a week, like, okay, I gotta like just go have like my alone time like at home
Mhm.
because like I just love alone time. But I think I've even over the past like 6 months really learned like how to have that alone time, even if we're like sharing a space. Like
Yeah.
whether it's like a night that he goes out with his friends and I stay in, or a night that I go out with my friends, like that's not technically alone time, but like just finding those
You time,
moments, like,
yeah.
yeah, that you're not together, because I think that is so important.
Or saying that you want to read when he wants to watch a show
Exactly.
together. Like, it's okay.
Being allowed to read.
I mean, we were watching a show last night and I was like, what time is it? I'm like about to fall asleep. He's like, 8. I'm like, oh. And at 9, I got into bed
Yeah.
to read Harry Potter and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And he watched basketball until midnight.
Yeah.
And like, that's okay. That was okay.
Right. That happens now like more than it used to. I think because we have kind of just treated this as living together.
Yeah.
Whereas before, if it was like I was staying over at his apartment, I think it just felt like, oh, we should go to sleep at the same time and all of that. But like we rarely go to sleep at the same time now, just because he's such a night person and I'm
Mhm.
such a morning person.
And, we have a listener question, and we're going to get to listener questions in a bit, but someone did ask, like, what conversations should you have before moving in together?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big one of, like, on your own, like, would you go to sleep early? Would you stay up late? Like,
Mhm.
I remember, like, when friends moved in together, they were asking, like, guys, Ilana, like, is it weird if we don't go to bed together at
Yeah.
the same time? Like, no, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
do what you need to do to feel good. Like,
Mhm.
some nights you will go to bed at the same time and you will wake up at the same time. Most nights, that's not what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and that's life.
Yeah. And like if you you can like find time because like some people really like to like cuddle or like have that like time, and it's like if you're not going to bed at the same time, like when do you do that? Or like even like having sex and things like that, but like you can find time to like
Yeah.
like maybe you stay in bed a little longer in the morning, or like they come into bed and like lay
And
with
then
you for a little
leave.
while and then leave. I think that is a big one. I'm trying to think of other conversations. I know I have a whole post on this, conversations you should have before moving in together. There are so many. Is there one you're thinking of?
What's your take on finances and who's paying for what? And
That
the
I think
split?
is a really big one. Like I know some couples who will do like he pays when we go out for dinner, I pay for groceries kind of thing, which like I feel like my relationship kind of works out that way just because I love grocery shopping and so I'm always going to the grocery store. But even like obviously rent and like things like that, like I think that's a huge conversation to have. Like are you going to split rent evenly, or like maybe if one person makes more, are you going to who's going to like the bills and all of those things. I feel like you need to talk like as early as possible about finances.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is if there's something you're not comfortable with, you need to voice that. If you know that you make a third of what your partner makes, and the assumption that's been voiced is that you guys are going to split rent and you don't feel comfortable with that, you need to speak up. It is on you to speak up. Maybe they'll think of it, but they might not.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean they don't care. That doesn't mean they want you to go broke. They just might not know the pressure that that's putting on your shoulders.
Yeah, that's so true. Or like if they're the type of person that likes to like order out a lot or go out a lot, and you maybe do that a lot now because you're not living together. So when you're together, it's like a special thing. Like talk about how often you're going to go out to eat, or how often you're going to order, or how often like what you're going to cook at home and who's going to cook and things like that. Like I think a lot of those things obviously do come up naturally, but the more you can talk about them beforehand, the better.
Yeah. I think it's also huge to realize like things will evolve as you live together. Like when me and Jake moved in together, neither of us cooked. Now I cook like 3 times a week and I love cooking.
Yeah.
It's my like me time. Put a show, like a comfort show on, like Gilmore Girls, put my phone away. It's like my break of like the workday is over, the evening is starting. I love it. But if I didn't love it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And I used to not do it. And so I think realizing that like things will change and there don't have to be like roles set in stone.
Yeah.
Same thing with like who's cleaning certain things. Like, okay, maybe you love vacuuming and they love, I don't know, organizing, but like sometimes they might be more busy than you. You know, like you have to be flexible and be like, okay, like I hate taking out the trash. That's their job and they didn't do it. Like it's so rude. Why are they forgetting everything? They don't even care. It's like, we all have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Just you're capable of taking out the trash too.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. And wait, so does he cook with you?
No, he doesn't like cooking.
Yeah, that's
If I'm really busy and stressed and I like, can't, and we have the ingredients, we do Blue Apron, he'll do it. Like if I'm sick and we still have a Blue Apron meal, like he'll do it. But I enjoy doing it a lot more than he does.
Yeah.
So I usually do it.
No, that's how I am too. Like I love cooking, and I agree with you. That's like my time. But yeah, like probably I would say like 70% of the time he'll be like, "Oh, like what can I do for this?" And he'll kind of like help with things. But like it's just because we kind of like doing it together sometimes too. So it's not like I wouldn't be like resentful if he didn't like to cook, because I do. So then I do. So it's like those types of things, like you said, they like ebb and flow and you'll figure it out.
I cook, he cleans. And I love that. I love that I can finish my meal and then like go to the couch.
Yeah.
And it works for us.
Oh, like cleans up from dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean does that too. I feel like that's like,
it's really nice.
Especially if I cook the whole meal. It's like,
yeah. Cause then I think I would get frustrated of like, well, I'm cooking and cleaning.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes he's still at work while I'm cooking, but like other times he's home playing Xbox, you know?
Yeah.
So like I could see myself getting very frustrated. But again, like if he weren't stepping up and volunteering, like that would be annoying, but that would also be on me to be like, hey, I just like cooked for 45 minutes. It would be really nice if you could clean up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's not that hard to just like come out and say that. Like in the moment, it might feel like you like, I think like when you feel nervous to say things like that to your partner, it's like stop and think like, what are you afraid of? Like they're gonna be like mad at you that you're saying that, and then it's kind of like, oh no, like it's just in my head. Like it sometimes feels uncomfortable to say something like that.
But if you don't say it and you sweep it under the rug, then you're gonna get mad at them.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna be like, whoa, where's this coming from?
Yeah, like resentful. Do you guys ever argue?
Like we definitely argue, but like not like we're not fighting people.
Yeah.
You know, even like with friends, with family, we're not fighting, we're not yelling people. So if something's bothering us, like we'll say it.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like he'll mention like Alana, like you leave your sweatshirts out everywhere all the time. And I'll be like, Jake, every time you shave, you leave your razor and shaving cream out. Like every
Yeah.
single time. So then like as soon as we like voice it to each other, we'll both be a little more conscious of it. That's not
Yeah.
to say every single time we're gonna remember to put it away.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like you're doing this because you know I hate it.
Right. Yeah. And if you actually feel that their intentions are bad, there's like a much bigger issue in the relationship.
Totally. It's going to be interesting one day when we don't live in a 1-bedroom apartment anymore.
When is that going to be?
Not for a very long time. But like, I just wonder what it's going to be like when we have a home. Like,
you guys have a great apartment though.
We do have a great apartment.
That, like,
yes.
as long as can.
We did just resign our lease.
Do you think like eventually it'll be out of the city though?
Yeah. I think we got a few more years, and then I mean, all I want in life is to like get in my car, drive to the grocery store for like a song and a half, get my groceries in those big aisles with short lines, take my basket to my car, fill up my trunk, bring the basket back where it belongs, because it really bothers me when people don't do that. Drive a song and a half home, unload the car, breathe, like
Would you miss
nice
the city?
air. I think I will miss the convenience of like all of my people being in the same place. But I also know that realistically over the next few years, like my friends many of them are going to leave the city too.
Yeah.
So right now it's like a lot of my social life is concentrated on the Upper East Side. And I'm trying to enjoy that while I have it, because I know it's temporary.
Yeah. Are a lot of your friends in relationships or married, or?
Most of them are, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's like people are starting to
exactly
really leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I like still can't picture not being here.
Yeah.
I love it here. So like if that would be like my ideal situation, is like if I could live here like forever with kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I would be like very, very particular about like wanting so much space. So it's like you need so much money to do that. And I feel like, and Sean and I are the same way, that we like both, like I think it's gonna be really hard for both of us to like, if we have to eventually accept that, like I think we would be happy if we were somewhere like that still had like kind of like a cool town, and, like, places you could walk around. But like our huge thing is walking. Like we go on a walk every single day. And if we were just like in a house on like a main road, like I would need to have some sort of like
neighborhood and coffee shop you can walk to.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't know, it's a little ways like away.
It's really weird to think about the future.
It is.
To think about like the people we're going to spend our time with, and like the place that we quote unquote like end up.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's so crazy. I think about it sometimes with like my own family and like my aunts and uncles, and I'm like, I like only know them as like the ones that are like married into the family. I'm like, I like only know them as like they're
fully formed adults.
Yeah. Like, and like they're like they're like married last name and things like that. And it's so strange that you might have this like whole next chapter of your life, if you're not married yet, that like you have no idea what it's going to be like.
Totally. I mean, I think about my parents, like I'm many years younger than my parents were when they met each other.
Really?
And like to think that like my whole existence, like the duration of my whole existence plus numerous years, like they lived those lives without each other, without me and my brothers, without being in Westchester. It's so weird.
How old were they when they met?
My mom was 35.
Okay.
And my dad was 42 or 43.
I feel like that's great for all of our listeners to hear that might like be frustrated in dating in their 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think about it all the time, especially when I talk to like listeners who are in their 30s or friends who are in their 30s. Like, also like with timelines and biological clocks, like my mom had me when she was 40.
Wow. Are you the youngest?
I am.
Okay.
I have two older brothers.
Yeah.
But like anything is possible, and like we all think we have so little time.
Yeah.
But life is just getting started.
Yeah. You have like it's like crazy to think about. Like I'm 35 now. Like if I were single and I was like spiraling like that, or even not single, like anything with like life, like if I'm like, oh my God, like I'm already 35, like I can't career change, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like imagine how I'm gonna feel like 20 years from now when I'm 55, and like dying to be the age that I am now. It's
Yeah.
like, it's such a mindset shift that can be really hard to make.
And guess what? At 55, you can still change your mind about what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
You might still have no idea what you want to do with your life.
When you're 75, you're gonna be wishing you were 55. Like,
Exactly.
it's just like, it can, so that's why I think you always have to live as if it's like, you can change your mind. You can do whatever you want in that moment. It's just about like the present moment.
Yeah. I'll always think of that phrase, like, this moment is the youngest you'll ever be.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah. That's so
weird.
crazy. Yeah. Okay, should we get to some questions?
Let's do it. We're going to do a little question roulette. You guys sent in some great ones.
Do you want to start?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. Where did it go? All right. Da-na-na-na-na-na. You tell me when to stop.
Okay, stop.
What to do when my boyfriend doesn't seem genuinely curious about getting to know me anymore?
Oh, I saw this one.
Interesting. I would definitely try and start some like deeper, more creative conversations. I think when we get into, a year or two and we're out of that like honeymoon stage, we can start to feel like things are like mundane and like we are like, we know everything about each other. We're just living our day to day. Like we're going to dinner, we're talking about the usual things. And for some people, that's okay. And that's enough. And for other people, like there are people who want to have deeper conversations, want to, share more about themselves, want to get to know themselves better through their relationship. And I think, maybe your boyfriend's in a place where he thinks everything's great. He might not know that you feel this way. And I think trying to start some deeper conversations, maybe getting those like card games that ask questions, like I think letting him know also, like, I feel like, we just have the same conversations every time we, spend quality time together. I would love to like mix it up or, I want to know, like, tell me something I don't know about you.
Yeah.
And then have him ask that to you back.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And I think it's important to note that he might not know, like what you said, that he might not know you feel this way. And especially it depends on how long you've been together, but he might think he does know like everything there is to know. But like it can be easy to feel that way. Like I've only been with Sean like 2+ years, but sometimes I do feel like I know him so well. Like, what could I possibly not know about him now?
Yeah.
Whereas, like in the beginning, it feels almost like overwhelming. Like, there's so much to know about this person that I like met in my 30s or whatever when you had so much life before you. But I think like to me, that's why, of course, the conversations, like the decks and things like that, can be so helpful, like the question decks. But I think that continuing to go on like different types of dates also is so helpful. Yeah, like being in different environments with each other. Like if you're always going out to just like dinner and drinks, maybe like do an activity together or like travel together. Like there's nothing better, I feel like, than like experiencing like a new place or a new like situation with somebody that really like brings out different sides of people and helps you like learn things about each other through that. And even like being around other people. Like I love going on like double dates with Sean because like I see him around his friends and I'm like, oh, maybe a story comes up that I never heard, or like he says, like brings up a topic that maybe doesn't come up with like just us. And it's like, oh wow, you're like really seeing them in a different light, but like also being able to like express yourself in a different light and get to know each other just in a different way.
Also being around new people, like double dates with a new couple friend.
Yeah.
And that can be harder to find. But like, for example, we recently became friends with our neighbors and they're like the same age. They also got married last year and we have so much fun with them. And it's different, hanging out with them versus hanging out with one of my college friends and her husband or one of Jake's high school friends and his girlfriend or wife, because we're not just talking about all of the mutual friends that we have and what they're up to and what weddings we all have together. We're talking about like nobody else. Like we're just talking about us and them and random different things. Like it is such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and when you don't have so much past together with somebody, it forces you to like focus on like the present you. So sometimes when I'm with like old friends and my boyfriend, it's like, oh, we're talking about like all these past things. Like I might not even feel as connected to like those experiences or something like that. Wait, so tell us how you became friends with your neighbors.
So we're on the same floor. And we have the dogs on the floor. And Barkley is obsessed with their dog, Alfie.
Okay.
And so like at first it was like we should have a play date. And like every time the dogs are like in the hallway together, they go batshit crazy for each other. And I think it was like a long time of saying like we should all like do something. And then one day we actually did. And like we went over to their apartment first sometime in the fall. And I think we were there until 2 a.m.
Oh my God.
We had so much fun with them. And then sometimes like if we're going to be gone for a bunch of hours, like we'll text them, be like, we're gone for the night. Like no pressure. If you guys are home doing nothing, like, and you want Barkley and Alfie to play, like Barkley's around. So they have a key to our apartment now, so they'll just grab Barkley. So a few weeks ago, we came home from dinner and we went to go pick up Barkley, and we ended up staying there for like
4 hours
until 2 a.m. And then last week we were supposed to hang out with them for the Bachelor premiere, and that never happened. So we kept rescheduling it and finally did the finale with them. And it was so funny. I was texting one of my friends earlier in the day, and I'm like, I'm so tired. This has been the longest day. And she was like, oh, like, can you just like veg out tonight? I'm like, no, like we're having our neighbors over. She's like, can't you cancel? I'm like, no, like I really want to hang out with them. The problem is like we've never hung out with them to not 2 a.m.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Wait, if between you and Jake, which one of you is more likely to just like make friends with a stranger?
Oh my God, me, 100%.
Yeah.
It's
That's so
not
fun.
Jake's thing, and it's so my thing.
Yeah, I feel like I like want to be that person and then I don't do it. But like this is like such a great story to hear because everybody wants to make new friends, whether
Yeah.
it's like couple friends with your partner or it's just like a new friend if you're single or in a
Yeah.
relationship, whatever. Like you just have to kind of like talk to somebody and like say we should get drinks or we should grab dinner or
Yeah.
something like that.
We're very different in that way. Like Jake would not do that. And he'll like sometimes get annoyed with me because like I make new friends all the time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we're gonna go on a double date with these people and those people. And he's like, oh, Anna.
That's so funny.
I once said to him, this was probably like 2 years ago. I've never, like, this is the funniest thing ever. I was like, we should sign up for like a softball league or a kickball league. Like, I feel like doing something like that, like, would be really fun and different. He's like, okay, like, I'll text like the group chat and see if they want to do it. I'm like, no, I mean, like, to meet new people. And he was like, why would we want to do that?
A bunch of strangers.
Like, in what world? Like, what do you mean? He was so confused.
That's so funny. Wait,
Yeah.
now I'm realizing why you had such a hard time thinking about bridesmaids for your wedding because you probably have a million friends.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not a fun time.
Wait, now I feel like I need a sidebar though. What did you think of The Bachelor?
A lot of people like hated on this season. We're like, it's so boring. It's the worst season. Like, it's not like I had high expectations.
Yeah,
Like,
it's The Bachelor.
it is what it is. It's like
Yeah.
a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching it. I enjoy it being mindless, and like there's the same drama every time, like
Right.
same drama, different font. I enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm very new to the franchise.
Oh wow, welcome.
So this was
Welcome to the nation.
My first season was, well, I guess my first season was Jen, so The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
And then I watched.
Why? What brought you into it? Does Sean like it?
I honestly just think like the podcast and like having people reach out
Yeah.
that were on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. And I was like, oh, I feel like this is something I should be watching for like relevance of what's going on in like pop culture. and so I watched, and I also think I was excited about Jen. I think I heard
Yeah.
her, it might have been on Call Her Daddy. And
Yeah,
I was like,
that
oh,
was a
she's
great
cool and
episode.
fun. She was such a good Bachelorette, I thought. And so I watched that season and then I watched Joan on the Golden. And then I watched this one with Grant. So those are the only 3 I
Wait,
watched. So now I'm like going
I'm
through each.
so excited for your first season of Paradise.
Should I watch it?
Paradise is better than any other part of the franchise.
Is it like Love Island?
I don't watch Love Island.
Oh my God.
I've tried. I don't know why I can't get into it because
Yeah.
I love reality dating shows.
Yeah.
Paradise is amazing, and because it's the people from the men from Jen season,
Yeah.
the women from Grant season, and people from past seasons too.
Uh-huh.
And so they're all like intermingling. There's still like one-on-one dates and date cards, and it's so much better.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm confused that the Goldens are going on it this year.
Me too, but I
don't
kind of love
understand.
it.
Are they gonna like mix and mingle together?
I 100% think so.
Wouldn't you be so mad if you were like,
Yes.
well, I don't know. I feel like if I was one of like the Golden women and like I was there and all the men my age were like going for young, but it could go both ways, I guess.
It could
but it's
totally
like
go both
a
ways.
free for all. Also, like if I was like, I feel like if I was on that show and my mom was watching, and then there were like also men like her age there with
Super
me, like I
weird.
feel like it's just all so weird.
It's
but
so
I'm obviously
chaotic,
gonna watch
and I
it.
love it.
Yeah, but I honestly, people obviously did hate on this season. I don't have other Bachelor seasons
Yeah.
to compare it to, but I thought they did a really good job with the group of women. Like
I
all
agree.
the women were amazing.
I agree. If you want great television, go back and watch. I think Pilot Pete season was like
okay.
prime Bachelor.
Okay.
It was like that was a great season.
I went back and watched a few episodes from Matt James just when everything was going on with Matt and Rachel.
Okay.
I was like, I need to see like what their early days
Yeah.
were like.
Yeah. Wow, you do your research.
Yeah.
Okay, pick the next question.
Okay. How do I know if he is really ready to really commit? How do I know if he was really ready to commit?
you might not.
Yeah.
Because, and I think this is one of the hardest parts about dating. Someone might tell you they're ready to commit, and they might give you everything you want to hear. They might do all the things, and then they can decide they're not ready to commit, or they're not ready to commit to you.
Yeah.
I think you really have to reframe this of, do you want to commit to this person? And are they, day by day showing up for you?
Yeah. I like that answer. I think that one of the things that makes conversations like this easier is like start asking those questions early on, not about you. Like when you're going on that first date, ask them in general, like if they're looking for a relationship. I think that when it comes to the point where you're like 5-6 dates in and you're obviously asking because you want to be dating them, then it's like a harder question to ask. Like I have a friend right now who's probably been on 5 dates with somebody and she still doesn't even know if he just wants a girlfriend in general. And I'm like, well, now it's awkward because it seems like you want him to be your boyfriend. Whereas like if it was just the first date and you asked him like, why is he going on dates? What is he looking for? Is he looking for something casual? It would have been like so lighthearted. You're obviously not asking him to be your boyfriend.
I had this exact same conversation 2 nights ago with a listener turned friend, since I make friends everywhere I go. And she was going on her 5th date, and she's like, I don't know what he's looking for. And like, I am starting to like get attached. So I want to know. And I said, start a conversation about dating in general, whether it's asking like, what's the worst date you've ever been on? Or like, I can't believe this is our 5th date. Just start a conversation about dating, because talking about dating is the best way to lead into those conversations of, where have you been and where are you trying to go?
Yeah, I like that too. Even like something casual, like, do you go on a lot of 5th dates? Because like 5th date is like pretty rare for a lot of people. So like just kind of voicing that, like you said, I can't believe it's our 5th date. Like that can kind of bring up the topic of like, so where might this be going or what? Like I do think like, and I hate saying like red flag and things like that, but like I do think it's a bad sign if you are 5 dates in and you have no idea what they're looking for. Like I think that I don't remember Sean and I having specific like conversation of what are you looking for? I'm looking for this. But like it was just so clear early on that like we both were wanting to move toward a relationship, and we were both like still figuring out if that was with each other. But it's like if if you're not sure, it seems like they might be giving some signals that they're not looking for a relationship.
Yeah. And I'm curious, have you expressed to this person who wrote in, like, have you expressed your desire to commit?
Yeah.
Because also, like, if you're getting to that 5th date and you don't know what they're looking for, it's very likely they also don't know what you're looking for because it hasn't come up.
Yeah, that's the best way to figure out what someone's looking for. Is like
share what you want
and say what you want. Because like, I don't respond well if someone just asks me a question like that. But if they're also like opening up and telling me I'm looking for XYZ, then I'm like, oh, okay, it feels safe to tell them what I'm looking for.
Being vulnerable is the best way to encourage someone else to be vulnerable and open up to.
And that goes with like any timeline in a relationship. Like if it's about moving in together, it's like tell them I told Sean early on I wanted to move in at like about a year and a half. And like it didn't work out that exact way. But like because I said that, he was able to say like, oh, this is what I'm thinking. And then we were able to like take it from there. Whereas if you're just kind of like wondering where they're at and not sharing where you're at, it's like,
yeah.
What
would you do? I know there were questions about this of like a misaligned timeline. Let me find the exact question or one of them. How to navigate differences in timeline. I want to get engaged, and he says probably 3 more years.
3 more years?
That's a big one. That's a big gap. That's a big gap of time. A lot. That's a big gap.
Yeah. And like, I mean, you might be like 22. So it's like, that might not be a huge deal of waiting 3 years, but also like, it is like, it's just a big misalignment. I think that, and like, I hate to gender things too, but I was just talking with someone else about this, that like, I do think that women are way more inclined to just think in general about time. And
we have to.
Because we have to, but also like, even early on in dating, like I have dated people in the past where like he's going on a trip and we've only been on 2 dates, and I'm like, oh my God, we must hang out before his trip. Otherwise we're not going to hang out by this time.
Totally.
And like, you're like doing the calculations in your head, like, and they're literally not thinking about it at all. They're just like, I'll see her when I get back. Like, I feel like that is similar to me as like, I'm thinking I want to move in a year in because that means I'll get engaged 2 years in and that means I can have a kid at this age. And like they're usually not thinking like that at all. It might feel like a scary conversation to have, but I think if you feel not aligned on this next step, it's like you have to then talk about like bigger picture and what you guys both want and
Agreed.
kind of like the timing that you want for that and be willing to compromise a little. If neither of you will compromise, it's like you might not want to be in that relationship as badly as you both want to be if like you can't meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and if you don't have that shared like end goal and vision, that's why it is so important to talk about it. And I do see, like I have seen relationships where, someone really wants to move in and the other person isn't ready yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they have been living with friends and they haven't lived alone and they want to live alone first, or they're just not ready.
Yeah.
They're not ready for that next step, but they are able to, sit down, have that hard conversation, express that they're not ready to move in. It doesn't mean they don't want to be with this person. It doesn't mean they don't see them building a future and a life together. They're just not ready for that next step. And then that's up for the other person to decide, like, is that something that they can live with? And I think when it comes to engagements and getting married, there's so much like emphasis on the ring and the wedding because it's talked about so much, because it's what you see when you open social media. I think you have to forget for a minute, like play along with yourself. Like if there was no ring, if there was no wedding, and you just knew this is the person that you were going to be with forever, and somehow that was guaranteed. There's no guarantee of anything in life. But hypothetically, if you were told that you're going to be with this person and that's it, would you be okay waiting?
Yeah.
Because I think so often we just get hyper focused and obsessed with, crossing off the list of things to do. We have to move in together. We have to get engaged. We have to get married. We have to, move to the suburbs or move to that next apartment. And you could get engaged and then the engagement could be broken off.
Yeah.
You could get married and then get divorced.
Yeah.
Like it's all an illusion of security. What matters is like, how do you feel with this person today? And what do you want your life to look like with them? And working towards that and knowing that, things can always change even with or without that security.
Yeah. No, that's really true. I think that the biggest thing to hammer home is just understanding like what the hesitation is and like you're saying what the reasoning behind wanting to do it is.
Yeah.
And having that conversation versus like beating the timeline into the ground is just like, here's why I want to, was she asking about getting engaged or moving in?
Getting engaged.
Yeah, here's why I want to get engaged now, and here's why I want to wait 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's like talk about the root like reasoning of it, and that will be a much more productive conversation than like trying to find a timeline.
Yeah. And neither of you is right or wrong.
Yeah.
You're both entitled to your wants. You're both entitled to your opinions. But again, it's not you versus your partner. It's the two of you versus the problem. And in this case, it's the two of you versus your misaligned timelines.
Yeah.
How can you both make that gap a little smaller and work towards understanding where the other person is coming from so you can, have compassion and feel good in your situation?
Yeah. And don't brush it under the rug.
Definitely not.
Okay, let me find another.
Your Aura ring looks so much like newer and nicer than mine.
I had to get a new one recently because the battery was like dying so quickly.
I do have to charge this every few nights.
They sent me a new one when I told them. They were
really?
like, I messaged through the app and then it was like, oh, hold on while we look into it. And then it's like, oh, turns out there is a problem with your battery. And then they sent me a new one. So
oh my God.
try that.
Wait.
I tell everyone to try it. Yeah, now it's like so shiny.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Drum roll.
I didn't understand this one, so maybe you can explain it to me.
Okay.
Had a relationship with 2 false starts and can't get him out of my head still a year later.
Okay.
What's a false start?
I think it was like maybe like the wrong time, like something was bad or not bad, but like maybe they started like trying to make it work when someone was really busy with work or someone had to go away or someone had like family problems going on. And so it's like I think this person feels like they never got to give it the fair shot that it deserves.
Right. So it's like what could have been kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's like the same advice I would give to someone trying to get over a situationship. Like, it's like, it didn't work for a reason. And so everything you're playing out in your head is fake. Like it's part of it is based on the reality or how you feel about this person or the connection that you felt with them. But it's not enough to like that's just not what would have happened. Sometimes it's easier to get over a 5-year relationship because you have all these things in the back of your head of like all these fights we had and all these things that they did that actually did annoy me and all this stuff that it's like a whole like backup file that you can go to. Whereas this, it's like you only know the what could have been feeling, and that's not what it is. So it's like you have to just kind of give yourself that reality check every time you're thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, you could what if yourself into a black hole.
Yeah.
I always have to explain this to people of like why a 3-month situationship or even a 3-month relationship or 3 dates with somebody could be more painful than a 3-year-long breakup, because you started picturing what could be. You started picturing your potential future with this person, and you have to mourn not only the situation ending, the relationship ending, but this future that you painted for yourself of this is perfect, this is my person, versus getting to able to like play it out and see it unfold and see it not work. Listen, you could have had every situation set up for success with this person and it still could have not worked.
Yeah.
You have 2 choices. You move forward and close the door, or you swing that door back open and try for the 3rd time if you want.
Yeah.
But eventually you're going to have to move forward.
Yeah.
And so it's up to you. Like if it's been a year and every single day you're thinking about this person, then yeah, I would say like give them a call, see what's going on. If they're down to, you know, meet up and have a conversation. And after this attempt, like you get to a certain point where you can't blame what's going on external circumstances.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's just not meant to work.
Yeah. I just think a year later, if it hasn't worked, it's just not going to work. Like I think that, and like she's sitting there thinking about it, but is he like, I feel like it's like you had these 2 false starts. You tried 2 times. It didn't work out. You just like, at this point, there's more fantasy than there is reality. I saw this quote recently that was like, the longer you stay on the wrong train, the more expensive it is to get home. And it really stuck with me. It's like, think about that in work. Think about that in any area of life. In dating, like the longer you stay, like playing out this like fantasy in your head, the harder it's going to be to come out of it and just get back to like a baseline.
I saw somebody sleeping on the subway. Like I got off and they were like leaning their head against the window sleeping. And I'm like, oh, that poor guy. Like, this might be his stop. Like, who knows when he's going to wake up and then he's going to have to trek all the way back. And like the harder thing would have been to stay awake and get off because he was really tired. Like he's getting a nap in, but he's not going to be happy when he wakes up.
That really stuck with me because there's so many things that we like know we shouldn't be doing, or so many things that like we know are bad for us and we keep doing them. And the harder it's going to be to come out of it. And like, if that's a bad relationship or just like something like this where you're kind of just like ruminating on it.
Absolutely.
Okay, should we pick one more?
Let's do one more. Quick one. How to get partner to plan more cute, different date ideas versus just dinner and a movie.
Ooh.
Why does your partner have to plan them? Why can't you?
Yeah, I think you both should plan them.
Yeah.
I remember Mia, my former co-host, her and Dan used to have like, each of them would have one night per month that they would plan the date. And they would of course do other things throughout the month too, but they would have like their standing night that each of them planned. And that also gives you kind of like motivation to make it a fun, cute thing.
Totally.
Because it's like your night.
Yeah. And if you like lead by example, you know, like plan a date for him, that's the type of date that you want to be going on.
Yeah.
Jake and I, to this day, we started doing this in our like first 10 dates because we watched The Bachelor together.
Yeah.
And we talked about The Bachelor on our first date. We do date card days. And so we plan a surprise day for the other person and like we write a date card of what we're going to do. And we give it to them like that day or like on our way to the place. And so that allows us each to like be creative and put thought into like what would they want to be doing on a date. And it always gets us to do something very different.
Yeah.
We also, when I was at Hinge, they gave us, it was a really cool like perk of working at Hinge. They wanted us to kind of like lead by example to our users. So we had date stipends. And every month we got $200 to go on a date. And like it didn't just come in your paycheck. Like you only got reimbursed the $200 if you like went on a date and like then wrote in the Slack channel about like what you did. And so it encouraged me to do things I never would have done. Like I went to the Central Park Zoo with a friend. Another friend, we took a bus and went to this spa in New Jersey. Another friend, we looked outside my window one day and saw people jet skiing. And we looked up, how do we jet ski in New York City? And we went jet skiing the next morning.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, maybe even like give yourselves like a monthly date budget to do something different. It has to be something you haven't done before.
Yeah, and like make a bucket list together of those things that you want to do. And like, I also think this does tie back to what we were saying earlier on, that if you feel weird telling them you want to do it, that's not a good sign. Like, if,
why wouldn't they want to do creative dates?
Right. And also, if they say, let's go out for dinner this weekend, say, oh, or we could do something fun and new and exciting.
Totally.
Like, just say that. Tell them you would rather do something cute and different. Then, like, if they're not open to it, then it's like, that's kind of weird, but like, just put it out there.
Yeah.
They
Sometimes
can't read your mind.
It's a matter of just doing it. I think for me and Jake, we find that like when we're on a fun date, that's when we're getting creative, thinking about what other fun dates we're going to go on. And so like, we'll be out to like a really cool dinner. And I remember in like November, we were out to an awesome dinner and we were like, oh, we've always wanted to like go to a really cool magic show. And like at that dinner, we bought tickets for for a month from then.
Yeah.
A magic show.
Wait, didn't you go to a really cool magic? I feel like you posted about a
stand-up magic.
Okay, I want to go to this.
Oh my God, you have to. Okay, you guys. I don't know their exact dates because they've been on tour, but they're usually like Sundays in Brooklyn. It's half magic show, half comedy show. And there's Tess Chigalis, who is a comedian and hilarious. She hosts it. And then there's Max Davidson and Jason Silberman. They're two magicians. And then they always bring in another comedian.
Okay.
It is like $20 or $25.
Oh, wow.
There's no drink minimum. So it is like a cheap date night.
Yeah.
You can go by yourself to meet people. You can go with friends. You can go by yourself to not meet people. You can go with your significant other. It is so much fun. And like, honestly, it was better than like any night that we've gone to the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
It was so funny and so cool. Yeah.
Where in Brooklyn is it?
It's at the Gutter, which is, do you know where the climbing gym is in Williamsburg?
Oh,
Vital?
yes.
It's like right next to there.
Okay, that's a really fun date night. I think
It's
I might have to put that on the calendar.
Fun. Stand-up magic. You have to go.
Okay, this was so fun.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so happy we did this. I guess, so for me, you can find me on Instagram at MOSTLYDATING and a newer account at Mostly Dating Podcast, which is all things podcast. And listen to my podcast, Mostly Dating, wherever you listen to podcasts.
And check out Seeing Other People wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to find me, you can find me.
Amazing.
Yay.
Great. Thank you.
Until next time.